Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I am Peter, that is Tim, and we talk about horror movies. This is a bonus episode that is going up on the 1st of April. So, as no surprise to anyone, we're going to talk about April Fool's Day because
Whoa.
there's one movie called April Fool's Day, so we're going to do it. Although technically there's another movie that was almost going to be called April Fool's Day, but they changed their name because of this movie. So maybe we'll do that next year.
Or not, we'll see.
The suspense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about April Fools. We're probably just going to go straight into spoilers. Honestly, the only thing you could possibly spoil about this movie is the ending. And even that, I feel like you could probably see coming. Or at least I think most people will maybe assume what the ending of a movie called April Fool's Day is. Spoilers. Full spoilers. We're going to start talking about it.
Yeah, I would say I was surprised by the ending, but I mean, I guess if you sit down and think about it, it's not that shocking.
Well, when we get to the ending, Tim, I'm going to ask you some questions, and
Okay.
we'll see how you rack up. Okay, it's just a slasher movie, basically, without a sort of like prominent killer. There's no like guy in a mask kind of thing where you're like, oh, that's the killer from April Fool's Day. The kills are more kind of like a whodunit type of style, which I guess makes it a bit more like the first Friday the 13th, because that was all POV. That you never really saw like a person doing the killing. It was always that kind of thing.
I'd say you get more pranks than kills in this movie.
You do. There's a lot of April Fool's pranks because it's a group of college friends. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. It's a group of people who all know the same girl from college, and they mostly don't know each other. There's one pair's a couple, one pair of friends know each other, but otherwise they don't know each other well. Like, they've never really met the other people in the group. And this girl, Muffy, her name is. I don't remember any other character's name, but I remember Muffy. Her house, her like family vacation house, is like, you have to get a ferry to it. It's on a little island. You have to go off the mainland, and the ferry, of course, doesn't run over the weekend. So once they're there all weekend, and which sounds fine if you're just going for a nice, pleasant weekend at a nice big house. But of course, things start going wrong, and it's a slasher movie. People start dying. Tim,
Yes.
did you enjoy April Fool's Day?
It was okay. I mean, it's a pretty. It's actually, I was gonna say pretty standard 80s slasher, but I wouldn't even say that. I'd say it's a little less than. I wasn't as like enthralled by it, but I mean, we said it before on this show. I'm not as big on slashers, as some people, especially you. So, that probably hampered my
I like how
disappointment.
you started that as if like some people, as if you didn't want to specify it was me. You just like some people are.
Well, I think there's some people that are very like hardcore, like that's what they want, which is fine. There's a lot of really good slashers out there, but I'm not like a person that just likes any slasher.
Again, implying that I am. How dare you? Because I actually agree with you on this one, Tim. I think this is.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a pretty mediocre slasher movie.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from two reasons. I think there's two ways this could have been much better.
Okay.
And one of them is maybe the characters could just be a bit more interesting and a kind of thing. Like they're kind of bland, they're kind of typical. They're kind of fit into their stereotypes, but not really. Like,
Yeah.
it's just because the funny thing is, I actually saw this before. I saw this maybe. Oh, it's probably been 10 years now. So, admittedly, I'd have forgotten a lot of it anyway, but honestly, the only thing I remembered about this movie was the ending.
Yeah. That's definitely the most notable part, and I do kind of want to give it some props for that. Like, I mean, we'll get more into it when we get there, but
Honestly, I think we have to go into the ending quite soon just so we can talk about how it affects the rest of the movie, because it does kind of change things. Also, I'd forgotten that Biff from Back to the Future was in it.
I liked him.
Yeah, I also forgot that I say main girl. She's the main girl in that she survives the longest, I guess. She's actually the final girl from Friday the 13th Part 2.
I did not know that. I actually quite enjoyed her. I thought she was pretty good too.
So Yeah, I think the cast are okay. Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with them. It's just the characters aren't that fun. And the other big problem for me is actually kind of what the ending does. Not the what the ending is itself, but what it means the rest of the movie has to do in order for the ending to kind of make sense. So we're going to go straight into the ending, right? So the ending,
Okay.
lo and behold, April Fools. There was no killings all along, and it was all some elaborate prank. Although, I mean, they give it a bit more reasoning. The girl who now owns this house wants to open it as a murder mystery weekend kind of thing, and she wanted to test it all out. One of my big problems with the twist, though, is that like they do say they do clearly say that all the victims didn't know about it until they were confronted with the killer. Right? It's a little bit far fetched. It's a little bit hard to swallow that it all went this smoothly. Whatever. The problem I have with this twist is that it makes all of the kills really shit because they have to not actually kill anyone. It either, you see the aftermath where it's like a fake head, or you never see the actual kills happen because they can't, because they're not killing anyone.
Yeah, that ultimately that's the, you know, worst part of it. It's a slasher movie without the slashing, pretty much.
I think even if you don't see the twist coming, I think, and to be fair, they do kind of swerve you in the sense that it's the day after April Fool's when most of the killing happens. So you could maybe argue, oh no, it's not April Fool's anymore.
Yeah. And then is she just is this her theme for this place? Like, are they gonna do this April Fool's theme all year round?
I don't know. I imagine she'll change the plot based on the holiday. Like
Okay.
they'll do a basic one, and then they'll do like a special Halloween edition, special April Fool's edition, special Christmas edition kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe Valentine's Day will have a romantic theme. Lovers gone
that's
that.
nice.
Well, lovers gone wrong. But yeah, that's kind of the big problem, is that the kills aren't really kills, and therefore are mostly completely forgettable. And
Yeah.
I think even if you, like I was saying, even if you don't see the twist coming, and I'm pretty sure I did that. I mean, admittedly, it was been 10 years. I can't remember if I did the first time. But even if you don't, I think you get this weird neutered kills thing. Even if you don't get that's why it's happening, you're like,
Right.
these kills aren't that interesting. There's nothing wacky happening. There's nothing inventive happening. They're just kind of basic. Oh, cut away at the last. Like, you'll see the character react to someone, which almost feels a little bit weird now when you know the twist. Because like, well, what was like Muffy wearing or whatever that made them have a shocked look when they turned around and seen her?
Also, like, thank God that no one, like punched her in the face or
Yeah.
like.
Well, we'll see the end when so Amy Steele, that's the actress's name. When she like when the door opens and she sees everyone alive, and she like finds out it's April Fool's, and they all start laughing. Her boyfriend still doesn't know, and he's like banging on a door on the other side of the house. I honestly thought he was going to stab someone, to defend himself, and that would have kind of justified the twist for me, because it would have been like, oh, maybe this is why you shouldn't play this kind of prank, because someone will legitimately get hurt, because this guy's like thinking he's fighting for his life, so he's going to stab whoever sneaks up on him, kind of thing.
And then what would be great is that you could do like a sequel where the person that he stabbed like goes insane because of it or something and comes back as a real killer.
Well, in my head, I was thinking he killed the person, but yeah, I can roll with that. I can roll with that.
Or maybe killing the person makes him go insane and then he feels like he has to finish the job next year or something.
So when it didn't do that, when it just kind of played it straight, and from that point on, and it was just, yeah, this was April Fool's, here's the reasons. And there's like a little montage of them all drinking and celebrating to music. So Muffy goes upstairs, and Muffy, we get this one last fake out where someone sneaks up behind her, and it looks like it's just lets her throw it, but then it's no, it's not. It's just a fake knife with some squirty blood. And at this point, I'm like, oh, screw you, movie.
It's a little unnecessary at this point.
Well, because you think, oh, maybe they're going to do it, like it's going to twist into a real horror movie at the end. Like, that's what they're going to do right at the final minute. And I feel like that's what it kind of needed to actually give it some sort of oomph. But it just, no, tricked you again. And I'm almost like, I get that it's really obvious to do an April Fool's horror movie where the joke is, the twist at the end is that, oh, and it turns out to be an April Fool's, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword, really. It's almost something you just can't do, because I feel like you go into a movie called April Fool's Day, you go, I bet the twist is that it's not actually happening.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like I I don't like it, but I do kind of respect it. Like, I respect that they're willing to go all the way and not have it, even have like a one kill or one little twist at the end. Like, it's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, like, I feel
I
like
like how you're praising it, but you're saying I don't like it, but I'm going to praise it. And I think for me though, it's like it's too expected. Like to me,
yeah,
the thing to do would be okay. You have the twist where it turns out to be a prank, but then you almost have to expect that your audience is expecting that. So you then build on it and then swerve them again with something else, whether it's as simple as someone actually dies or if it's. But I feel like it's just too basic. It's just too
yeah.
simple. But the biggest problem isn't really the twist itself. It's what it does, as we said, to the rest of the film. Is that all the kills are shit and they're not that exciting.
And then I do wonder what it'd be like to go back and watch it now and then like just try to figure out like, man, like there must have been so much work going into like she must have been running around here, around here.
Yeah.
Must have gotten the makeup guy over here.
Yeah. And like I was almost thinking about it, like maybe this movie would, or this idea for the twist would work better in a suspenseful thriller rather than a slasher movie. Because in a slasher movie, we're here for the kills, and when you take away the
Yeah.
kills, it kind of stops being the point, right? Whereas in a thriller where you're just building the mystery, you can cut away before the deaths because as long as it's suspenseful, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because a thriller,
True.
you're not there for the blood and gore. But here it just it kind of puts a damper on the rest of the movie. And as for the movie itself, the kids come to the house. I say kids, they're 22 or whatever, but
College
yeah,
kids.
they come to the house. Some of them have sex. There's like April Fool's pranks in all the rooms. Like doorknobs come off. The water faucet shoots the water up in their face. Or
I think one of my first reactions was after about 15 or 20 minutes of watching, these friends all together. All I can think of was how much I would have hated if these were my friends. Like after one or two pranks, it's kind of funny, but like if literally your whole weekend is just like having stuff blow up in your face or like shoot water out at you or
Yeah.
glass scribble.
most of them. There's a couple of that I'd appreciate. The one that I would actually really appreciate, and it actually genuinely made me laugh when I was watching the movie. So Amy Steele and her boyfriend get into bed, and he turns the nightlight out. On the bedstand, he turns the light out, and turning that out turns the one on that's across the room. That one made me laugh. That's a simple little funny prank.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anyone. It's just like, oh, screw you! You're making me get back out of bed. That's a harmless little prank that's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
But then you pile it on top of the 50 other pranks you
Yeah,
had
I know.
that day and just be like, God damn it.
yeah. I almost maybe that'd have been the direction to take it in, is that one of the friends gets so sick of the stupid little pranks that they go insane and start killing everyone.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's that's just kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to go into too much of it because, like you said, usually when you're talking about a slasher movie, you kind of talk about the kills and
The characters
Can't
don't really
really do
do
that.
anything interesting. Like I say, they do all that in the first night, and then the second day they find a couple of heads, and they're all
Yeah.
worried. They try to phone the police, and it's like, oh, I can't get there until morning or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's just basically them like arguing and then dying one by one. Well, dying in quotations.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only two real memorable moments for me,
Mm.
and they're both for comedy reasons, but one's intentionally funny, the other one's not. The first one is near the start of the movie. The sort of more snooty girls kind of like, oh, I'm reading a book, and she describes what she's reading, and it's like, oh, it's this edition from this high esteemed writer. What are you reading? And then the sort of goofy, jokey guy like pulls out a porn magazine and says, oh, it's the history of America through erotic fiction or something like that. And that was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
That wasn't bad. Yeah.
And then later on, so basically the fake mystery that Muffy has set up, they find clues around the house that they find a note saying, oh, someone who lives here like escaped a mental asylum and they're on their way back home, and the other clues that there's someone in the house that's crazy and all that sort of stuff. And then the twist in the fake mystery is that Muffy's not been here at least since the night before. It's actually been her evil twin sister, Buffy.
Ooh.
And honestly, the line, "It's not Muffy, it's her twin Buffy," made me piss. I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard. Now, admittedly, I think it's obviously more because the name Buffy means something to us now.
Yeah.
This was made before, of course, this show, and certainly, and even before the movie. But Buffy means something. But I think even just they're both silly names, right? Buffy, I'm used to because of the show, but Muffy is especially a silly name. So the phrase "it's not Muffy, it's our evil twin Buffy" just made me laugh so much.
I feel like Muffy used to be more of a like standard 80s like rich girl snobby kind of name, but you don't really hear it that much anymore.
Nah, I don't think so. Especially when Muff is slang for female pubic hair.
True.
I'm going to
Very
name
true.
my daughter Muffy. Why not? Why not just name her Merkin? I mean,
Good point. Um, there is a little bit of a that kind of like 80s charm to this,
there's a little bit of
But-
it, yeah.
but it never quite gets to the like point that you want. That there's some other movies you can point to that have like oh man, this is just soaked in the 80s. It's so cheesy, but I love it. It never really quite gets there.
Nah, it's a little bit reserved in that extent, which unfortunately makes it less interesting. And then the other problem is that not only is there not really kills, most of them don't happen until the last like half hour. Like,
Yeah, it
but-
feels really slow with the build up.
yeah, the first like 50 minutes are pretty slow. Like the introduction is fine, they're on the ferry and all that's going down, they get to the house. And it's kind of okay when they're finding all the pranks, because that's kind of amusing to an extent, and they're finding all
Yeah.
these booby traps. But then from like that point on to when they all start proper panicking is kind of just dull, and
Yeah.
it also doesn't feel like it escalates. It feels like it's just like normal, and then all of a sudden everyone's panicking.
Yeah. I did like the, standard old man that has to give him like a warning at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, you mean the ferry captain?
Yeah. I mean, he's not in it for very long, but I enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's okay.
I,
feel-
I kind of just like that trope of any like horror movie that has like some old guy in the beginning that has to, be like, oh, you kids, like,
Yeah, but to be fair, he didn't really warn them about like something like killing them though. He just kind of
no, but he was like kind of like he's very stern and didn't like them messing around. And
he was kind
I
of
don't know.
he was that character but without the message.
yeah, like it would have been nice if he maybe had mentioned something like oh, something about a escape mental person or
Actually, do you know what? Do you know what a better way to do this movie would be? Not a
that?
slasher movie. You do April Fool's Day. You do the exact same premise where everything's set up, but you do it as if it's Scooby Doo. It's a ghost, right? And you have the
Yeah.
old man in the ferry warn you of a spirit. Say
See,
something
that
like
would have been
that.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the house set up to do all, because you can buy all this stuff. You can buy table shaking, and when I say you can buy, I don't mean you can physically purchase it. I mean you can buy it as a viewer. You can buy it. It's still exactly what you would see in a proper ghost movie. But then you can
Yeah.
buy that someone has just rigged it, and it's tricks and it's smoke and mirrors, and it would work better. Whereas in a slasher movie, I'm like, these kills are shit. Why are these so shit? Oh, it's because they weren't actually kills.
Yeah, that could have been interesting. And then they certainly had stuff that would have lent itself to it. Like they had that recording of babies crying or something. Like you could have easily turned that into some type of recording of spirits, or even keep it as like babies crying,
Yeah.
and just make a story around that.
Yeah, you isolated. There's genuine. I think as a serious thriller, that was a bit smarter. You could do it as a supernatural sort of ghost version of this same story. You could do it as a slasher movie. I think it kind of just it neuters the whole movie, and as a result, I was just kind of dull and bored by it.
Yeah, unless you make it like an actual slasher. Like there is a crazy person that's obsessed with April Fool's Day and he's killing people, but killing them with like prank items or something.
Yeah, if they actually made the killer a personality, and you see like someone who's like Jason, not actually Jason,
Yeah.
but someone like Jason who's like, you see him out in the distance from the windows, and they know he's coming to the house, and they try and barricade the house. You could have had fun with that even. It just feels like they did the least amount of work in the script possible to make it fun, and they're trying to go for your typical slasher movie, but as a result, it's like the most boring parts of a slasher movie without any of the fun bits or the kills.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks because I usually, I said before that I'm not the biggest slasher guy, but I do like when, like slasher movies that are holiday themed, and it kind of sucks that there isn't more April Fool's Day ones because it seems like that would be one that could lend itself to have like a lot of fun stuff in it. But
like I say, there's one more that I know of. We'll probably do that next year.
nice. Hopefully it'll be hopefully a little better. But...
Hopefully. But we got April Fool's Day this year, and this was a really short video. So sometimes we'll double up slasher movies because we find that they're quick to talk through, but this one was especially quick because honestly, there's almost nothing that notable to talk about.
Well, I mean, there's one big thing that we haven't discussed yet, and that's the the true ending of the Jack in the Box winking at the camera.
Yeah, I'm not terribly fond of April Fool's Day. It's a mediocre at best and at worst just extremely dull slasher movie. So
I would say the only reason really to watch it is if you want to watch a horror movie specifically themed for April Fools on April Fool's Day. I mean,
Pretty
other
much.
than that, it's kind of skippable.
pretty much. And it's a shame because, like you say, typically you've got at least one decent horror movie for each holiday, and this doesn't work. So there we go. That's April Fool's Day. Ended up being a quick episode, but it's because there's again almost nothing to talk about. It's really quite shocking watching this. I was just kind of zoning out a lot of the time because there was just nothing interesting happening. But
Did make me kind of want to watch Back to the Future.
because Biff's in it, yeah.
Yeah.
It made me want to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 because the lead girl from that was in it. Maybe want to watch Buffy.
Yeah, it is at least good for making you realize all these other things that you like.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ratings, I guess. We're doing ratings for April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it's a little tough. But I think I hope this doesn't sound too harsh, but I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Actually, I was thinking the same number, Tim.
There you go.
I was thinking a 4.5. I could go down to a 4. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to be harsher. I'm going to say 4.
Okay. It's one of those things when I was thinking of the rating that I would give. Yeah, that's what came to my mind, like 4.5. And then when I was thinking it, I was like, well, that sounds pretty harsh. Like, because when I'm watching it, I'm not like getting angry. I'm not going, this sucks, or like, oh man, that was super stupid.
Instead, you're just not feeling anything.
Yeah, which
Might
I
be
guess
worse.
in some ways, yeah.
Oh well, what a shame. So yeah, I'm actually going with a 4. I've realised talking about it that I dislike it even more than I thought I did. So yeah, 4 and 4.5. There we go. That's April Fool's Day. Let us know what you think of the movie in the comments. If you've seen it, of course, we'll be back with a regular episode during the week, so you can look forward to that. Check out the other stuff we do on the channel. Like and subscribe and all that stuff helps us out a lot. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters, I am at Wibble89. Tim's at Tim Vergulish. If you want to get us on there for chatting and ramblings and whatever the hell Tim says on Twitter. Usually something about goats and or pizza and or Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah, it's the Holy Trinity.
That's us, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep watching scary movies, and with a bit of luck, the next movie we watch we'll enjoy more. So, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.